Hi, I'm Mathieu from Ludovox, and today we are at Essen Spiel 2016 with Victor from Eggertspiele, but we are in the Pegasus Lounge because Eggertspiele is distributed by Pegasus. Hi, Victor.
Hi.
So, have you spent a nice fair so far?
It was a very nice and successful fair so far. Right now, I'm already pretty tired because the fair is already going like 5 days for us. But it's great. I enjoy it every year, but after that, for another 2 weeks, I'm almost not capable of speaking anymore.
So we should mention that the fair has been open to the public since 3 days. It's the end of the third day of the fair for the audience. So we are here with your latest game, which is Gluck Auf. So it is the game. This is the card version of the board game. Can you talk a bit about it?
Yeah, actually, the board game there's a French version. I don't really know how to talk. Gueule Noire, something like this, by Gigamic. Pegasus asked us if we could do a card version. They had something different in mind, something small card version, and we told the authors, but they came up with this rather huge card game because there are like 240 cards in it. But we loved it so much that we had to do it because it's similar, of course, in the theme and mechanics that try to like recreate the experience of the board game, but just with cards, and that was just fantastic. So we just had to do it.
So it is a game for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, and it plays in around an hour, right?
Yes, if you know the game, an hour is no problem at all.
So what do we try to do in this game? Who are we and how do we win the game?
Everybody has a mine, and in this case, each player has a board. This is the mine. You have tried to grab from the mine a coal, which you have to load to trains. These trains have to have an engine, and you have to have an order, and then you can send them off to gain victory points. So you win by having the most victory points at the end of the game, and there are several ways to gain these victory points.
So what do we do in a player turn? Do we have to manage a hand, or how do we ship the coal and, take the coal, load the coal, and ship the coal?
Exactly. So in Coal Baron or Gueule Noire, there was this worker placement element where when you put a worker somewhere, you could do something, and the next player who wanted to do the same thing had to place 2 workers there. So it was about managing your workers, trying to get a lot of actions and not waste too much workers, because at the end you might have to spend 5 or 6 workers to do a certain action, and that was recreated in kind of with the cards in here. So each player has a hand of cards. There are 1s and 2s, 3s, 4, 5s, depending on the players. Some are not in the game, but these are workers. And when on the game board you have, not the game board of course, but on the table you have these different stacks of things and actions. And when it's your turn, you play a worker to like a stack, for example here. If there is no worker, you play 1 worker and take the card from that stack and place it where it belongs to him, because this is a wagon, this is a joker. I can place it anyway on these 3 loading docks anywhere, so it goes there. So then the next player's turn, next time it's my turn, I can again make the same action, but then I have to spend 2 workers. I can do it this way, or I can use like 2 ones to this, but it has to be. So I can't use a 3 to do it. So, but always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and this way you have to manage the cards, the actions, because at some point in the round you might have a 4 on hand, but when it's your turn again, there is no way, because there's no 3. So then you have to say, I'm sorry, I can place my worker, and then the round is over for you. So this way you manage your hand and gain these cards. And depending which you get, these ones with the coal go on this side, one after the other. then the wagons go there. Then you have like engines that go in front of the wagons, of course. There are orders you can pick up, and then there are these actions, which you need to like mine the coal. So if I would place, I can place also on this worker, and then do this action, which is mining, and I can mine up to 3 of these little carts. So I could take this over and place it in a wagon. At this moment, I can't do this because that's it doesn't show the same thing. But for example, if it was there, this is the same icon, so I can go there, and because this is a joker, I can put it in beneath the cart, and then this wagon is loaded. And at some point, I can when some of the wagons are loaded and I have orders and everything, I can deliver coal by using this action. And on these orders, there are a certain number of cards which are needed. If I use this action and play this card, this train has enough loaded because it's at least 2, and I have 2 here. I have to have an engine, and I have to play this, and then I can ship it off. I would take everything that's here, put it underneath for a pile where all my cards go just for the end scoring, and this one too. Oh, excuse me. This one too. It goes also on the pile, and these are 5 points at the end of the game. So this way you try to manage your loading docks, try to manage when to get these out, when to get the cards here. So there's a little bit of time because you don't have that much loading docks to do everything you want. You have to get the orders, and then there are also a few other piles which can give you points at the end. For example, bonus for if you shipped to a certain location, because every order also shows a location on the bottom, and then you have to try to every time a good card comes up, of course you want to be the one who gets this card, and it's a lot of timing in it, and it's quite a few ways also to score over these bonus cards, for example.
So it seems to be quite an intricate system that's really intertwined together. I have just one last question, which is when does the game end?
The game ends depending on the player count. There are 5, 6, or 7 rounds. So in the 2-player games, it's 7 rounds. In the 4-player game, it's 5 rounds. When the round is over, when I can't play any card from here, or I don't want to, I pass. And if everybody passed, then the round is over, and everybody gathers up their workers, and then a new round starts the same way. And after, depending on 5, 6, 7 rounds of player count, the game ends, and then there's an end scoring where you take this pile, go through it, all the victory points that are on there, for example, on the orders or on these, and also there are a few cards. Whenever I find one interesting, they are actually it's like this. Then, if it's a single card, there can be points on it too, and this way you go through it, and whoever has the most points wins it. Yeah.
I think that card games, adaptations of board games in a card game, are quite common and are quite a trend these days. For example, with the Castles of Burgundy and many more. So, as a publisher, what is your perspective on this?
Well, we didn't do a lot of card games in the past. In this case, the card game really intrigued us because it's the same universe, and it recreates this worker placement with cards, which was just too intriguing to not do. And we did another Camel Up, which was very successful for us. We did a card version this year too, but for us it has to be really something new, something so that people that know the game might be, I like this game, I can get into the universe, but it shouldn't be the same game just in a small box. So we won't do card games for all of our games. I'm sure that won't happen, but if the card game is just too good to not do, what shall we do? We have to do it, right?
Do you have an explanation of why there is this trend?
I think it's if you have some kind of placed like a very successful game. Of course, there are a lot of fans of them, and it's if you have a new game, you have to build up some kind of reputation. If you have if you like sail in the shadow of another game which you did, then the people already can relate it to it. Of course, this is also sometimes a problem because people say, I don't need just a smaller version of the great game I had there. But in these cases, I can assure it's not the case. It's a very different feeling in the gameplay, but it's easier to relate if you know the other game. So that's the main thing about it, I think.
Is Gluck Auf, the Kartenspiel, coming to French?
Well, we are in talks here. I don't know yet right now because the talks with our partners, my colleague does. We will see after the fair, but I'm hopeful there will be a partner. Yes.
So it's a definite maybe. Okay. Well, thank you, Victor, for that overview of Gluck Auf, the card game. Sorry, and see you on Nudevox. Bye.
Taram, tiri biri